Hi, Pisces. Welcome to this timeless reading. Things are a little bit different, I feel, for you around this time. Things are being rearranged. Maybe you're doing things in a different order, and you're finding that the order in which you do things is important in some way. I see that you've been working hard on yourself, like your personality, changing things about yourself, just really hammering away at who you are, what you want to be, things of that nature. You possibly feel like you have been maybe drowning when it comes to material needs or your even the things that you value in general, morally, ethically, financially, all of that. Anything that is considered valuable, right? It may have been feeling like you've been sinking, but there is I think you've realized that you can swim. Like that maybe the situation is not as bad as it feels, and you've learned how to swim in those deep feelings, those heavy feelings. Yeah. There's an emphasis on the afternoon, and normally I close this window when I'm recording in here, but I went to go close it and I heard very clearly leave it open. So I left it open. And I thought, well, you're not going to be able to see me on the video, but you can actually see me pretty well. And there's just this really bright window here. It's making me think a window of opportunity. So it almost feels like there's something like the afternoon light is shining in. Something important could be happening for you during the afternoon hours around this time that you find this message. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it looks bright. It looks great, right? It makes the room feel a lot better with the window open, I'll tell you that much. There's something to do with your words and them providing you like a solid foundation or stability in some way. Perhaps you are a speaker of some kind. Speech is important in the things that you do around this time, and it will provide some level of stability. That's all I can tell you. There may be some drama going on around you, and you're about to witness, or maybe you already are witnessing the aftermath of something dramatic. The way you dress could have an influence on how you show up for others at this time. There's also something about health and clothes. Maybe you work in the medical field and you're required to wear specific things. There is this relationship with authority outside of yourself that is at the forefront around this time. You may be getting advice in secret or secretly giving advice to someone else. Something about advice being hidden or it being given or received secretly. There's an idea of being careful or using care when going to places you've never been, connecting with ideas, concepts, things that are foreign to you. I don't think it means that there's danger. I think it just means to take your time and be careful when going to new places. Make sure you're soaking it all in, essentially, is what I'm getting. And you may be doing that. I don't know. Something about a bike, and maybe you ride a bike to work, or you are thinking about riding a bike to work, or there is something about a single wheel, right? It almost feels like you've been on a unicycle, but now you're getting a second wheel. Something to do with your public image, your career, the work that you do in the world. It's like balancing out. It's becoming more stable. Instead of one wheel, there's two now. It's easier to ride, right? There may be a whole crew of people coming towards you at this time, a community, or you're taking a whole community of people somewhere else. Or you're doing something. You're shipping out. You're getting on a literal ship of some kind and going somewhere with a group, or a group is shipping something to you. It's going to be different for all of us, so I'm trying to cover all the bases for this energy. And then finally, there are a lot of new energies from the depths that are being born at this time. There's a lot of really deep things from within you that are surfacing, and they're like babies. they need care and attention, right? They're kind of foreign to you, right? You may not have even realized that you had all these things inside of you, and now it's like, well, here they are. You have a bunch of babies now, and you kind of have to take care of them, right? You have to pay attention to it, to this energy, this new energy welling up from deep within you. And if you don't give it your focus and attention, your care, right, then, well, they won't survive. I mean, that's a bit morbid, but that's how it's coming through. All right, so that's the general energy I'm picking up for you, Pisces. My name is Shane. This is the Cup Night channel. Welcome to this timeless message for you, Pisces. Whenever it found you is when it was meant to find you. It found you, you found it. If it's not working for you, leave it behind. I'm going to first go over my meditation impressions I had when connecting with your energy, which is all these things I have listed on the side there. And after that, I will draw some tarot, some archetype, wild unknown archetype cards to go deeper into the message. There will be timestamps if you want to hop around, although I do recommend listening to the entire message because it is all one big package, right? It all goes together. But yeah, there will be timestamps if you need to skip around for any reason. If you need anything from me, there are also links in the description and the pinned comment for booking personal readings. I have a pre-recorded reading option on my Buy Me a Coffee shop. You can also donate to the channel through Buy Me a Coffee if you feel so inclined. Any and all support is very much appreciated. All right, let's get into it. So the very first thing that came through for me was this Taurus symbol, and I actually drew it out so I could show you what I was seeing. But when I was seeing it, I had my eyes closed and I could just see it, right? Immediately I just thought Taurus because the Taurus symbol is in the middle of this circle. So this is the symbol. And yeah, you can see that circle with the horns on top of it, right? That's the Taurus symbol, the astrological sign of Taurus. But you have this like larger circle and this horizon running through the middle of the horns and the circle, right? I'm calling them horns. They also kind of look like handlebars. It's making me think of a bike now that I'm showing this to you. But yeah, there's something here about Taurine energy coming through for you. It's very prevalent there, and what I'm getting is that there's like, I'm almost seeing that line, the horizon line I mentioned, right? This line that goes from left to right as like the indication between above and below, like below the sea or below the earth. Like there's this big like resource chamber below the earth or below the sea. Put it how it fits for you. And then there's like these horns sticking up or these handles sticking up above. I'm also seeing this as like a dip. It's almost like a line on a chart, right? It's going and then it dips and then it goes back up. I feel like this is related to your ability to swim. What I was saying earlier about the like finances, material aspects, also like moral, ethical values, all of that. Those are all really intertwined if you think about it. Finances are a highly ethical thing for everyone. The way you interact with your own finances, the way finances are moved around in the world in larger organizations and institutions, there are huge ethical concerns when it comes to money, right? But it's almost like you were swimming on top of the water for a while, and you could breathe, and you were swimming and you're fine. But then you came to a point where you had to dive down in order to get to this like pocket of value that was deep below the sea. Or you can think of it as you were walking on the ground and you had to take a shovel and start digging down into the earth because you knew there was something there, right? There was something very valuable there and you were trying to get to it. And when you were doing this, when you were going down, right, whether you were diving or digging or both, you kind of had to give up a lot, like materially, financially, even like maybe even beliefs, morals, ethics that you held tightly to before. Maybe they have now changed in a very fundamental way, or they've rearranged in some way. The order of them has changed. The priority of some has become higher than the others, right? You've kind of switched things around. But it was all because you knew there was something more further down. And so you went further down to find that something more. You've probably been getting a lot of visions. Pisces is a very psychic astrological sign, and if you're not a Pisces sun sign, moon sign, Venus, whatever, you probably have Pisces somewhere in your chart, right? So if this message is resonating for you, then take it for what it is, right? But if you meditate at all, or if when you lay down at night to go to sleep and you kind of have these visions, right? Maybe you like sort of enter this kind of dreamlike state where you have an experience and then you come back to consciousness, right? And you're like, what was that? I get those a lot, and they're very fleeting, and if you don't give them conscious attention, it's like these babies from the depths that I was talking about earlier. It's a weird way to say that, but that's what it feels like. It's like if you don't give them attention and care, then they just kind of fade away. Like they just kind of return to the depths where they came from, right? So there's this need to like shine a light, right? The window, the light from the window, the afternoon light, right? To shine this really bright light on the depths so that you can remember them. So that what you've encountered down there, all the valuable things that you found down there, you can remember. And you can do this in a couple ways. One, just being aware of it, and trying to recall details. It's like writing down your dreams, right? Or trying to remember a dream. Some dreams just stick with you, really, because they have this resonance, this energy to them, and you just remember them, right? But some you have to write them down right after you wake up, or they just kind of slip away. So there's something about that too here. There's some things that stick, some things that don't. And if you want more things to stick, then all you need to do is just bring your awareness to that place, to those depths. And you can journal things that you've experienced down there, whatever it is. That's the advice here. That's kind of the hidden advice I was talking about earlier too. It's like, it's advice about the hidden nature of things, like the things from the depths. The way that you can hold on to them, those valuable things, when you go down there is by bringing your awareness to them consciously. And that could be journaling, just thinking about them, recording a voice memo, recording a video about it, whatever it is that you do, making a piece of art about it, right? All of that is going to bring intention and awareness to that thing that you experienced in those depths. And that is, that's an advice that's coming through for you here with the third eye seeing. The things that you see with your third eye, if you want to hold on to them, then make a symbol out of them. That's coming through too, like the Taurus symbol, right? Make a symbol out of them. Just use simple shapes. If you're not good at drawing, just use lines and circles and squiggly, and just make simple shapes that represent things that you saw or feelings that you felt when you were having that experience. I wasn't expecting the message to go this way at all, but this feels very important to talk about. And we do have, on the pre-shuffle, these two cards kept coming out like repeatedly, and they actually fell out, and I ended up just putting them on the bottom because they were like persistent. The High Priestess and the Three of Cups. There's something about 3 here, because you can see we have the High Priestess and the High Priestess and the Moon in the middle, and that's basically one and the same, right? And then you have the white pillar here and the black pillar here. I believe it's Joaquin and Boaz. But there's 3 here, and there's also 3 moons. 1, 2, 3, and there's 3 moons on her head too. And her headdress is making me think of this symbol that I saw. So this like deep High Priestess energy is kind of important for you at this time, going into the depths, to the secrets, right? She holds the secrets. She holds the keys to the mysteries. And this idea of 3, maybe even the number 3 could be an important way of retaining this information. Think of 3 really distinct things that you encountered in your visions that you were seeing, right, with your third eye. And write them down or make symbols out of them, like I was saying. Do something with this element of 3, and it will help you to retain them, right? These visions. It's like memorializing them in some way, because the Three of Cups is all about like revelry and partying and coming together. And I can't help but notice on the cups, there's even, once again, like the waxing crescent moon, the full moon, and then the waning crescent moon. This 3, 3, 3, 3. And here's that energy of creation, of like caring for those babies, right? Those things that are unfamiliar to you, those babies from the depths, right? This is also related to the work you've been doing on yourself. Even under The Empress. Look. So we have the High Priestess with the Three of Cups, right? Very watery. Very watery Piscean energy here. And then we also have the Empress with the Three of Pentacles. This is like very Taurus energy here with the Pentacles coming through. Collaboration, yeah. And what I'm getting here is this is a collaboration between you and your unconscious, the depths of yourself. There are things that you have been picking up on that are deep within you that need your attention and awareness brought to them. They need to be like materialized in some way. Okay. Whew, this is a really strong message coming through for you, Pisces. Let's keep going. Young love. I had a slight vision when I was connecting with you of these teenagers in like middle school, high school. And it was like this playful relationship where they would communicate with each other and they would say like a bit of like kind of like sexually explicit things to each other, but they were just like playing around, like they weren't actually like together, right? They're young and that kind of stuff is exciting to them because it's taboo, right? It's a little bit forbidden, so it's kind of fun, right? So they're just having fun with this idea. And perhaps they're really good friends or something like that. But then a parental figure comes into the mix and they find some communication and they're like, oh my God, how can you talk to somebody like this? That's so bad. And they just completely shut down this like young, loving energy of like playfulness and like exploring sexuality, things like that, because it's bad or taboo. It's not accepted in current society, right, as something normal, right? So, yeah, it's just shut down, right? And I think there's something here about this goes back to the babies from the depths. It's young love, right? It's very young love, and it's everything is sexual at some level, right? Everything is sensual at some level. Everything is love at some level. Everything is young at some level. It's this idea of like we all come from the same depths, and all of our ideas come from the same depths as well. It's this idea of the one, right? The one source, the single source, the infinite ocean of consciousness underlying all things. And Pisces is the sign kind of representing that infinite ocean of consciousness of all things and the duality that exists in between, right, knowing and not knowing, right? The pillars here, knowing and not knowing. The space between knowing and not knowing. It's very important right now. It's a very mystical, magical space because that is where things are brought into the light of consciousness. It's the passageway between not being and being, right? I don't know why that's coming through so strongly, but that is very prevalent right now for you. We have reflection, protection. When I wrote this down, I was seeing like essentially a mirror or a line. Like if I were to turn the symbol this way, right? That line in the middle is the mirror, right? And imagine those horns or those handlebars are on both sides. And it was like this energy hitting the mirror from both sides and reflecting, bouncing off. And I heard, as I was seeing it, I heard reflection, protection. It's like people's projections, energy that is being projected towards you at this time, it's ineffective. You have some kind of like mirrored protection around you at this time. Like people want to paint you in some light, but they just can't because you're too mysterious, right? You're too inaccessible to them at this time. They can't. You're like a mirror. All they can see in you is things about themselves, and I think they recognize that. It's like you are able, just by doing your thing, being yourself, right? And especially coming into a very authentic version of yourself and really working on that, working out the details of that. It's almost like you're polishing this like silver moon mirror that just completely reflects the light of other people's energy back to them, and they recognize it as their own. They might say something to you or try to do something towards you, I don't know, and it just kind of falls flat to you, but then they are forced to reckon with the energy they just put out towards you. I don't know. It's very mysterious, but very cool. It seems like you have this very high level of protection where it's just like, it's like that that childhood saying, I'm rubber, you're glue. Anything you say or do to me bounces off of me and sticks to you, right? It just immediately goes back to them. And it's so funny that that's something like people would say as kids, right? Because it's absolutely a mindset and an energy that you can embody. Like just not letting things stick to you. Just like being like, "Oh, I know that's not true even though you said it. Like I know who I am. I know what I'm for, right? I know my value and your judgments, the way you feel about yourself, it doesn't stick to me anymore because I'm just like this highly polished luminescent mirror, right? It's very cool. Very cool energy. All right. This is probably going to be a longer video than I normally make. Sorry, Pisces. Or not sorry. Maybe you like that. I don't know. All right. I heard answardia, and this is one of those weird mishmash words that come to me, and I kind of have to unpack them. And they're usually a bunch of different words and cultural things all mashed together. And I just have to like search, like do some research to figure out what it is. But I didn't have to do research to notice dia on the end there, which is day, right? And once again, I have this window open and daylight is coming in as I'm recording this. There's something about the light of bringing like conscious awareness to dark spaces where normally maybe you would have kept them in the dark. Well, it's like you're opening the window so the light can come in so that you can see more things. Like perhaps you even notice something within a space where you usually keep it dark and then you've kind of let some light into it and you find something that you didn't even know was there before, right? You just notice something different about the space. But yeah, dia, day. The first thing that came up when I typed in answardia into DuckDuckGo, it's just a search engine I picked to use for this, is Mansoria, Tunisia. So there's a place in Tunisia called Mansoria or El Mansoria, and it was a historical place. I'm just going to read this little bit. It says, built between 946 and 972, El Mansoria was a walled city holding elaborate palaces surrounded by gardens, artificial pools, and water channels. Yeah, artificial pools. This, on this symbol, I was kind of thinking, whenever I read artificial pools, I was like, this is an artificial pool. It's like a cache. It's a cache of like pure energy that was placed there for a very specific reason, like just for you, right? It's like it was meant for you to find it. There's something that was meant for you to find here, and the only way you could find it is by going really intensely deep into your own self. And that doesn't mean just like meditation purely. That's like anything you do out in the world that allows you to see yourself in it and see the depths of yourself in it. Like it's that kind of a reflective energy coming through here. It was briefly the center of a powerful state that encompassed most of North Africa and Sicily. It continued to serve as a provincial capital of the Zirids until 1057, when it was destroyed by the invading Banu Hilal tribes. Any useful objects or relics were scavenged during the centuries that followed. Today, only faint traces remain. Yeah. So, something from the distant past coming through, ancestral energy, right? You may have some kind of connection to this place. I'm not sure. You might want to look it up and see for yourself if anything stands out to you. If you are able to see yourself in this information somehow for Mansoria, Tunisia. And actually, let me show you, just so you know, this is the place that I'm picking up on for you. Yeah. And then another thing that came through was Ansu Fati, which is a soccer player. And really the only thing that stood out about this profile to me was that he was born on Halloween, October 31st, 2002. So Halloween is, they say, a day or a time, a period of time, right? It's not just the day. It's like the surrounding time when the veil is thin, right? When the veil between the other side, whatever that means to you, and conscious life, this 3D reality is thin. So there's something here. Well, one, you might like football just at a surface level. And two, there's something here about the feet, right? Football, right? It's Pisces, the feet. The feet are connected to the sign of Pisces. So deep Pisces energy coming through here, and then the veil being thin. And I'm seeing this as, right, in the symbol, the veil as being thin. That's the veil. And there's something pressing into this circle here, right? Look, you can see it's almost like there's a finger putting pressure on this line and it's bending down into this cache there. And it's something solid, right? It's Taurus energy. So it's something solid, earthy, pentacle related, right? And then finally, the last thing I found was Ordia is a game. I don't know. I just felt like I should share this, so I'll show you. It looks like it's a Android game. It may be on other devices too, but yeah, the number 3 and 99 coming through, but you can drop the 9s in numerology, so just 3, right? Coming through again, also 4-4. But yeah, it's this weird creature that's just like climbing up out of the depths of something, right? It's climbing out of this hole. And maybe that's where you're at now. You're coming out of the depths and bringing something to the light. But it says, Ordia is a one-finger platformer where you play as a new life form, right? Babies from the depths, taking its first leaps into a strange and hazardous world. Jump, bounce, stick, and slide your way through rich and vibrant environments, guiding each creature to safety in a primordial world packed with various perils, challenges, and surprises. Yeah. So like I said, there's something about the idea of like a baby from the depth, right? A new life form that has to survive the hazards of conscious life, and you are meant to, like, it is you, but you are meant to care for it, right? It's like you are meant to bring it into this world in some way, whatever that is for you. Oh, and then finally, sorry, one more thing. Suo. Because it's in the middle of Ansuardia, right? So suo. And this one's interesting. So a Latin phrase, more suo, in his, her, it's their own manner, in his, her, it's their usual way. This is that idea of authenticity to me. Another way, a Latin phrase. They're all Latin phrases. Suo jure or jure, in his, her own right, used especially following the title of a noble woman to specify that she holds the title independently of her husband. Yeah, so it's this idea of there's an emphasis on the female energy here, right? Especially with the High Priestess and the Empress and the 3s, right? All coming through. Because it's making me think of, the Mother Maiden Crone. That trilogy, not trilogy, that's not the right word, but, they're a triad, right? 3 phases of the feminine energy. Mother, Maiden, Crone. Maiden, Mother, Crone. There's an emphasis on the maiden of that trilogy, something new, right? Something fresh. Suo loco, in its proper place. Suo Marte. This one was very interesting to me. Through one's own Mars, by one's own exertions, without help from others. Yeah, so it's this idea of striving, like Suo Marte, through one's own Mars. I really like that. But look at your Mars, whether you use tropical or any other system for astrology, sidereal, true sky, whatever you like to use. I did feel compelled to bring up the Western tropical chart for today and just point out, for one, everybody's freaking out because Neptune just entered Aries according to Western tropical astrology, right? So it's at 0 degrees of Aries right now, as you can see there. The moon is currently at the late degrees of Gemini, about to enter Cancer. And then Mercury was coming through from this symbol that I was picking up on as well, right? Kind of looks like Mercury's glyph as well. Mercury is in Aquarius in the 8th house. So we have 12th house, 8th house, 10th house, 9th house. 10th house too, because I meant to say 9, but yeah. All coming through pretty strongly here. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, let me move on here. This is one. I feel a little bit like there's so much here to this message that it's kind of hard to get through. Normally, when I do these, since I've been doing them this way, it's pretty easy for me because I have it categorized, right? I have a list of things. I kind of just go down in order one by one. This one, I feel like I'm all over the place, rearranged, right? But order is important. There is a need to follow the order as it was laid out. So we just finished Ansuardia. Cartoon Jaws. I saw the cover of Jaws, right? But as a cartoon. So the shark was not quite as intimidating as the typical Jaws movie poster looks, right? With the big shark underneath, and I think there's a woman swimming on top. Swimming, right? Swim, yeah. Swimming right, but there's like this creature from the depths down there. It's like about to devour her, essentially. But in this case, it was like the shark was a cartoon, and it was kind of smiling, and it was just looking at the lady swimming on top. Like, it was not threatening. It was actually cute. It was childlike, right? There was no fear there. And I think that is important to mention as well. There's something about you taking the fear out of the depths, out of going into the depths. Like, maybe you were afraid when you first started going deep into yourself, right? But you've learned to be comfortable down there, and now that it seems like you're kind of coming back up out of that, back into the light, right? You realize that it's all a matter of perception, right? I mean, obvious that doesn't mean to say that fear isn't useful. It tells us when to be careful with things, right? When to be careful about things, right? But it's to say that fear is usually a lens that can overtake and distort your perception of reality. It's almost like you realize that not all sharks are bloodthirsty monsters, right? Most of them just ignore humans. They're just there, right? They don't actively target humans specifically. But it's also a nuanced thing because certain sharks are more aggressive than others. So it's like you realize now that there is a way to interact with the world on a deeper level where you understand the nuance of things that allows you to take care, right, when you're interacting with unfamiliar spaces, places, things, people, objects, whatever. But also to realize that you shouldn't let fear stop you from exploring and expanding your horizons. Kiplingkut. This is another mixed mash word that came through, and the main thing I found for this, well, first I came across it was a French financial institution that helps people invest money, but they operate out of France, called Kipling, or Kiplink with a K on the end, just like I have it spelled out there. K-I-P, it was 1-P-L-I-N-K. So I don't know, maybe that's important to someone who hears this. There's also a public school charter network called KIPP, K-I-P-P, public schools. And I'll show you their website here just in case. I don't know, this may be relevant for someone out there. But it's essentially a network of schools that it looks like they primarily operate in the United States, but they're a national network of public charter schools that prepare students with the skills and confidence to create the future they want for themselves, their communities, and us all. Joyful, academically excellent schools. Yeah, so it seems like they have very specific like ethics, morals that they're trying to implement in this network of schools across the US anyway, from what I can tell. But yeah, so I liked their vision. It says every child grows up free to create the future they want for themselves and their communities. Yeah, so there's this idea about freedom and growth, and also children again, right? Like helping them grow and vision. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Maybe somebody out there is looking at a KIPP school that's in the KIPP network. I don't know. But the metaphysical concept coming through is this idea of learning and encouraging growth and allowing freedom. Like these little babies from the depths, is like you have to let them be what they are. Don't try to box them in because you feel that society wouldn't approve of this or that or whatever. It's like just let them be what they are. Let them explore the things that are inherent in them. And I'm not talking about actual children here. It could be, right? But it could also be related to a project, a creative idea, right? It's like this idea of you found this idea baby in the depths, and now you have to care for it in order to help it grow into something, but you want to be careful not to box it in too much, not to be overbearing, right? Not to stunt its growth. You need to let it explore and learn and be curious. You need to let it grow naturally, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. There's also, of course, Link is there in Kiplink, right? Link is in the middle, so there's this idea of connection, and I think it's the connection between the known and the unknown, as I've been harping on so much in this message. And then, yeah, rearrange. Order is important. the order of something, right? The way something plays out is important. And that's the idea of growth. Like there are stages to growth and you can't skip the stages of growth, right? In order for it to grow naturally and to become like its most healthy version that it possibly can be, right? It needs to happen in a certain order. There's like a learning phase, there's a growing phase, there's a budding phase, right? It's yeah, just look at any plant, any human, any animal, they go through phases, right? And in order for them to reach their like ideal maturity, right, very healthy and confident and beautiful, they're you can't skip those steps, right? So I think it's trying to say, because rearranged came through first and then I heard order is important, there's something out of order here. Something was rearranged and it needs to be put back. It needs to be rearranged again back into a more natural order of things. I heard birds of prey, but I saw prey with an A, like prey, you know. I actually had a vision of a pure white eagle this morning when I was meditating, and it was a very personal vision. I'm not going to go into all the details, but it was very impactful, and it came through again when I was connecting to the Piscean archetypal energy for this moment, right? And yeah, there's something about birds are messengers, right? They're often seen as messengers. They're birds of prey are usually like top of the food chain in a lot of cases. They have a higher overview, right? They are able to see, right, from very high up. They have this third eye seeing element associated with them. But there's something about like your devotion, your prayers, your commitment to something, right? This really focused, clear energy that you have, like you've maintained. It's like it is taking flight. It is allowing you to see from a higher perspective. You're able to kind of like zoom out and fly upwards and see the lay of the land and see where things are headed at some level, right? That's kind of what third eye seeing is about. It's these impressions of the energy and how it's shaping up and how it's transforming and what it's transforming into, right? So what I'm getting here is this is part of you. These birds of prey are part of you. You have this ability to kind of connect with this bird-like spirit, right? Or spirits, maybe, depending on how you perceive this, as a result of your devotion, your commitment, your concentration, right? Your prayers. Because that's really what praying is, right? There's even, I'm not an expert on biblical passages, but even in the Bible, there's verses that mention that you're not supposed to pray in public. You're not supposed to do it for show, right? You're supposed to keep that secret, right? Keep it secret, high priestess. Keep your prayers, your commitments, your devotion secret. Don't go blabbing around about it, because that's one way to, one, get like negative attention to it and the energy against its growth. Like things start working against it because they're like, oh, well, that's not going to happen. Like, it's this idea of obviously some aspects of a project or whatever it is you're creating is going to be public, but it's this idea of not just blurting everything out always, right? It's not meant to be public. It's meant to be prayerful. It's meant to be quiet and consistent and silent. Because when you start blabbing out, you're releasing that energy. You're dissipating the energy instead of like keeping it contained and focused, like prayerful, right? That is also coming through. And then finally, I saw the letter Y. I can't believe I'm almost at 40 minutes and I still haven't made it through the meditation impressions for this video. Oh man, I'm feeling this one today. But the letter Y, once again, it's kind of making me think of this symbol. The symbol seems to be very central to everything I'm talking about here. But it looks like a Y with a circle on the bottom, right? But it's this idea of tapping into something, because the Y looks like it's almost like a device tapping into the ground, right? It's like these handles. It's like a jackhammer. It kind of makes me think of right now, like a jackhammer going into the ground, or something tapping into the ground, or two things meeting together to seep further down. It's this idea of tapping into something. And if you look at it in the reverse way, from the bottom up, it's this idea of a fork in the road and decisions, right? Having to make decisions. And those decisions will branch off into other decisions, and they'll keep branching and branching, right, infinitely throughout our lives. And they influence the outcome of everything, because we are connected, all of us, to everything, right? So I'm seeing it as a lot of different things. You'll have to meditate on this Y for yourself and see what comes up for you. Maybe journal about it. Just write a big Y at the top of a piece of paper and then write down the impressions that come to you while you're looking at it. That's one way you could do it. You can do it however you want. But yeah, why? It's also the question, why? Why this? Why that? Being curious, right? Like little kids, what do they do often? Why? You tell them something, why? You're immediately challenged, why? And I think that's a good thing because they are acting as mirrors. They're reflecting, right? It's reflection protection. They're forcing you to go within and go deeper and challenge your fundamental assumptions because that's what new life does. That's what new things do, what kids do, right? They challenge your assumptions about the world because they are new. They are the next thing, right? They represent a culmination and a change in everything that has already been. They are the next layer, the next level. So you want to have that childlike mentality whenever you are engaging curiously with things. But it's a balance, right? You can't just be a complete child. You also have to be a responsible adult. So there is this walking the line energy here as well. Balance. Always balance. Okay. I will pull cards. I'm going to keep going. This is going to be a really long video, but I'm going to start with the wild unknown archetypes here. On the bottom, it's no surprise we have the queen. All this feminine energy coming through here, right? Talking about going deep within the depths, caring, nurturing, motherly energy, right? But not letting it become smotherly energy, right? Don't smother. Keep it open, right? Especially in your heart space. Big emphasis on the heart space right here in feminine energy at this time. But there is a need to be discerning and also committed. That prayerful idea coming through the vow, and the judge is the discernment there. Knowing what is for you, what is not for you at this specific time in your life. Also, I can't help but notice the bird there above the vow, right? The hands. Another white bird coming through, yeah. And then finally underneath that is the self. Yeah. The value within yourself. There's that circle that you dove down to get, the pearl inside, right? And now it's shining out. Look at all that light, all those light rays shining out. And look, that figure is kind of a mystery. They're a shadow. Like I said about you, it's like you're a mirror that people can't seem to get their heads around no matter how they try to approach you. The only thing they can see is a reflection of their own energy. Your rubber, their glue, right? Okay. So I just felt it important to call those out. I'm going to shuffle a little bit, see what else wants to come out. I'm just going to draw 3 of them because 3 is the number of this reading. And that's a very creative energy. Speaking of like numerology, the number 3 in numerology. It's the first like stable shape that you can create is with 3 points, right? A triangle. Because with 2, you can only make a line. And with 1, it's just a dot, just the center, the source, right? Okay, yeah, so more creative energy coming out. The poet and the number 7. Personally, my favorite number, the number 7. But yeah, expression. This is, and all those birds again, right? Those birds of prey. Look at those hands on that white orb there. That reflective lunar energy. It's seeing yourself in the world and seeing the beauty in that. How everything is connected and being able to add new expressions, right? I'm hearing bird babies, right? Like all these birds are those babies that are coming out. And now that they're out, they're free, but also they need guidance, they need care, they need protection, right? In order to become fully what they are. But they shouldn't be trapped in a cage. They should be allowed to fly around. And you know what? If they love you, right, they'll come back to you. Okay. Oh, okay. We have Kairos. Divine timing. Yeah, there's an element of divine timing at play here. We have the number, let's see, what is that? 76. 7 plus 6 is 13, which is 4. So we 3s and 4s seem to be significant here, and 3 plus 4 is 7. Yeah, so a very spiritual number, right? And it's about spiritual balance and breakthrough, insights. So there's something here happening right on time, and it's related to your creativity and new things in your life. Things that you have been taking care of. It's all happening right on time. Trust the process. Trust the process. You get one more. Okay. Well. Okay, two more, I guess. Yeah. So the fault line and the box came out together. So we have 4 in total. There is a break in the structure of what was once solid, right? There's a change. Maybe you're seeing the cracks in something that seemed solid from the surface, but really, when you get closer, you're noticing, okay, this is in need of repairs, or there's something inside, right, deep within that thing at the center of the box there that's glowing, that is breaking out. It's breaking out in order to allow for something new to be witnessed right on time. Yeah, and this ultimately will be shared with the village, with the community, with the people, right? As I said at the very beginning of this reading, which seems like forever ago, there's like, you're either getting on a ship with a bunch of people, or a bunch of people are on a ship coming to you, or something's being shipped to you from a community, or you're shipping something to a community. There's some kind of element at play here with a larger group and you sharing creative value in that group. All right, let me get some. I'm going to leave the High Priestess out because she is super relevant to this message. But let's see what else wants to come out. Naturally for the tarot. Okay. So there's a lot right off the bat. Let's see. Death, 2 of Pentacles, Page of Wands. So this is that transformation and balance and another childlike energy, right? Page of Wands, new ideas, as we've been talking about, those babies from the depths. But there is a big shift right now happening in what you had going on, like the balance that you were maintaining before, right? Because 2 of Pentacles with death, that's transformation in the way that you were maintaining balance. And it's as a result of these new ideas, these babies from the depths, right? This one's a fiery little baby, particularly. There's a lot of energy behind these new ideas. And there, you can see the potential for them. You can see the end, right? And you can see how much energy it's going to take to get it there. 10 of Cups, that's the ideal. That's the dream, the vision, right? And then the 10 of Wands is the work that's required to put in to get there. So this is like double emphasis on you are able to see further out into the potentiality of this baby, right? Of this new idea, of these new ideas. But you are also able to see the amount of work that is required to get it there, the responsibility that's required to get it there. And I see, oh wow, okay, so lots of fire here too. Water and fire and a little bit of Pentacles, but a little bit of earth. So 4 of Wands, celebration, 7 of Wands, defense, 8 of Wands, progress. So there is something stable to this energy, and it is allowing for joy and celebration to come through. But it requires protection, right? Especially energetically, not burning yourself out here, right? And then, yeah, this is helping you to progress forward. Honestly, these are kind of like the antidotes to each other in a wand sense, right? Because 4 of Wands is about, like, to me, it's about a period of not working. It's about celebration, relaxation, knowing how to use your energy to celebrate what is stable in your life, right? And then the 7 of Wands is kind of a card of putting up energetic boundaries, protecting the energy that you've cultivated as a result of this 4 of Wands, right? It's like you've tapped into this sense of joy and meaning and purpose and inspiration, and now you're defending it. And you're not letting yourself get burnt out about it one way or the other. You know when to drop your defenses a little bit. You also know when to put them back up. And you know when to have a good time, and you know when to put your head down and do the work. It's a very cool energy, and this is propelling you forward. Yeah. And all of this is tied to your inner calling, right? Something deep within. This is Scorpio energy. It's something very deep, very mystical, right? With Judgment, I'm also getting this idea of letting the world see when it's ready. Not saying that something needs to be seen right now at this time, but it's this idea of knowing. You'll just know when something's ready, right? You'll have that inner calling. You'll have that inner voice there telling you, okay, it's time. It's judgment time. It's time for the whole world to see what you've done, right? And this could be a good thing or a bad thing. It really just depends on where you're putting your energy, right? It's going to be different for all of us. So if you've been using your energy, all this wonderful energy here, for like creativity and doing things that add value and enrich your life, then when it comes time for this judgment call for the world to see what you've been doing, you know, it's going to reflect that. But if you've been doing like things that aren't good for your health, aren't good for the world, that like make you feel bad, well, eventually, you know, it's going to come time for judgment, right? It's going to come time for that to come out and for everyone to kind of see what you've been doing. You're going to be evaluated in some way at some point because people ask questions, right? That's just what humans do. They want to know, who are you? What do you do? Right? And what do you want to be able to say when you're asked those questions? That feels very important. What do you want to be able to say if you are asked those questions? Who are you? What do you do? What lights you up? What are you passionate about? What do you want to be able to say to that? You want to have a response, right? Whew. Okay. All right. We're getting close to an hour here. I'm going to close this out. This is very, very intense energy and a heavy focus on the creative pursuits for you at this time, whether that's something you do for work or as hobbies, whatever you are passionate about and you are caring for, like a little baby, you're caring for that little baby at this time. That is what all of this is about. And it seems like you have done some deep, deep inner work. That much is obvious here. But now it's like there is a change related to these new ideas that you have found deep within yourself, right? These new inspirations, new passions. And nothing is guaranteed, right? The work is still required in order to fulfill the vision. And you still have a choice, right? Now I'm seeing the Y, the letter Y as a fork in the road. You have a choice to commit, take on the responsibility here to bring forth this vision, right? This 10 of Cups. But you can also choose not to and return the babies to the depths where they came from. You don't have to do it. And certainly, you might have more than one idea and you can't do them all, right? And I'm not trying to say that maybe not eventually you can't do them all. Maybe if you like prioritize, right? Order is important. Prioritize the ones that you think are the most pertinent right now and then just write down the other ideas that you have and come back to them later, right? It's not that they have to go away forever. Maybe you just kind of return them for now and then you can pull them back out later. But it's this recognition that bringing any one big idea to life is a lot of work. It requires a lot of dedication and commitment, right? It takes a village, as they say, and that village is you, right? But the temple, right? See those prayerful hands there? So don't get it twisted. Just because you are able to see the potentials, right? The energy of what something could be doesn't mean that it's guaranteed. Don't get it twisted. It still requires time and effort. Just like anything in this life. It requires commitment and dedication to see it through. Okay. All right. Let me get a Archanimal Tarot Oracle card for you. This is by Bernadette King. These cards are absolutely amazing. And the descriptions are always so relevant. I cannot wait to see which card comes out for this hour-long reading I've done for you, Pisces. Let's see. The left side. Okay, so we're going with the side that has the tarot associations. The right side does not have tarot associations. These do. Okay. Let me give them a little bit of a shuffle. That's funny. On the split, it opened up to the Page of Wands again for the raccoon. Look at that. And then on the bottom there, what does it say? Enthusiasm, free spirit, new ideas. Yeah, there's that idea of like this inspiration and free spiritedness, right? Like letting something be what it is. Don't try to shape it, like mold it, hide its light, right? Let it be what it is. And then the macaw, the world. Wow. Oh, I'm so excited to see which one comes out. Okay, let me give it one more shuffle here. All right, Spirit, what animal garden is most pertinent for Pisces at this time? Whenever they may find this. Thank you. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. All right, interesting. We got another repeat. So, the chimpanzee, which represents the Two of Pentacles, right? Two of Pentacles. Now we have it again. So, on this particular card, it says balance, go with the flow, and fun. Yeah. There's a very childlike attitude coming through here. I'm going to read you the description from the book, but just from my intuitive perception of this card, it's emphasizing the need not to take it all so seriously. Like, yes, you need to protect this energy, you need to protect these ideas and invest in them, but that doesn't mean that you can't have fun with it, right? You can do that and have a good time. Like, they're not mutually exclusive. You can do both. And that's what it's trying to say here. So, let me find this in the book really quick, and then I'll read you the description. Okay. The chimpanzee embodies the idea of living every moment to its fullest. Wise people of the Congo tell us chimpanzee is remarkably magical. They associate chimpanzee with the attributes of quick-mindedness, communication, social interaction, balance, and harmony with nature. Humans share about 99% of their DNA with chimpanzee. The relationship affects this creature's symbolism and meaning. For example, how chimpanzees play so expressively reflects what our inner child could be like when we give it room in our lives. Chimps are very curious and creative. They'll try manipulating various natural items to make tools that, in turn, ease the difficulty of specific tasks. They teach us to see marvelous potential in the most mundane of things. Chimpanzees surprise us in many ways, always good to keep on our toes around them. One type, the bonobo, has a matriarchal structure and is wholly pacifist. They live in communities with each chimp having a specific role that grows in complexity and importance as they mature. Chimpanzee medicine embraces the intricacy of relationships and the many guises we wear, which are necessary for successful daily interactions. We may be a parent, teacher, breadwinner, friend, or guide. All those aspects matter to who we are deep in our souls. Yeah, who are you? The chimpanzee language is complex and represents using various avenues for clear, concise communication. They have body language, facial expression, and hand gestures that others of their family recognize, even the most subtle ones. Humans are still struggling with this. It's a refined art that takes time and diligence to master. Once we do, however, we can present our truth, our vision, by delivering it in such a way true understanding occurs. We no longer feel like we are speaking a foreign language no one quite gets. Yeah. Yes, that is once again, this blew my mind. So let me read that last part again. Humans are still struggling with this. It's a refined art that takes time and diligence to master. Once we do, however, we can present our truth, our vision, by delivering it in such a way true understanding occurs. We no longer feel like we are speaking a foreign language no one quite gets. Right. Because these little babies from the depths that are coming up, they don't speak the same language, right? They have their own little babblings and things that they do, and you really have to care for them and connect with them to understand them, right? And once you do, once you put in all that work and effort and take the responsibility, right? That's when the vision is realized, right? That's when you can finally present this idea, this concept, this little baby to the world that is now probably a full-grown thing, right? And people can see what it is and understand it. It's like they can, just by its energy, right? Its signature, they can see what it is and get this feeling from it, even if they don't fully understand it, right? It's like something there because it contains so much authentic energy that you put into it. It's like they can sense that. They pick up on that. They know, right? So, yeah, just make sure you have fun along the way, along this crazy, wacky journey, right? Obviously, not every day is going to be the most fun, right? But it's just not giving up on this spirit, right? This childlike spirit as you are establishing new relationships with people, places, things, projects, whatever. Just make sure that you're having a good time too, and paying attention to the subtle cues around you. Okay, Pisces. Looks like we've made it to about an hour now. So that's where I'm going to end this. Thank you so much. If you made it all the way through this video, wow, thank you. I hope it gave you some value, some meaning. If you need anything from me, links in the description, pinned comment. As always, take care of yourselves. Keep your heart open. Bye.